Alright, hello lads and lasses, and welcome back to Boys Down Under, where today, as promised, we are going to be talking about all things Hans Wolf. Before we go any further though, please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to help support the channel grow and reach more audiences. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, because he is a relatively unknown figure to, most Celtic fans, myself included, I thought, why not do a good old-fashioned scouting video on Hans Wolf? And then more news broke out about Jota and Barkas, so if you stick around to the end, we have some news up on that. So Hans Wolf, he is a 22-year-old Austrian centre-attacking midfielder playing for Borussia Mönchengladbach in the Bundesliga. So, yes, he is Austrian, but by no means is he related to Hans Wolf. Well, he is Hans Wolf, but he isn't related to that Hans Wolf. And he is also not related to Toto Wolff, who is the Mercedes F1 team principal. And no, he is Austrian, and that is not the same thing as Australian.
Austria? Well then, g'day mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
As that is the nationality of our current resident wizard at Celtic, but he does play the same position, so I'm sure we could, think up some chance maybe about one being Austrian, one being... I don't know where that was going, but back to Hans, and the lad was very, very highly rated as a youngster in his home country of Austria. He went to Red Bull Salzburg, then he got transferred to the sister club, Red Bull Leipzig, in the Bundesliga, and then he went on loan for £12 million, that was. Then he went to Mönchengladbach on loan, signed for them. Then he signed back for Leipzig. It's kind of a lot of back and forth, love-hate relationship between Gladbach and Leipzig for Wolf. And this season, though, Wolf has very, very much been underplayed and very underutilized by his manager. And he's only played 14 times this season. Only 14 times this season. Oh, no. Scrap that. Don't listen to me. The Gladbach have played 14 times this season. Wolf has only played 7 of those matches. And in those 7 matches, he's only played 24% of the minutes available in those 7 matches. So he is been very much deprived of game time this season, and that is why the manager is looking to loan him out in January to get him some game time so he can develop as a player, because as I said earlier, he's only still 22 years old. He needs to be getting regular game time like a certain Portuguese winger to fully develop as a player. Now, regardless, there is still a talented player in there despite this lack of game time. In his early days, he was a very, very prolific goal scorer as a cam, but as he's moved up to better competitions, that sort of has subsided, whereas his other aspects of his game have certainly improved, like his technical ability, his game awareness, ball playing skills, and that was on show in the 20 and 21 Bundesliga season. He made 32 appearances for Mönchengladbach, only missing 2 of their league games that season, and then he also played 7 matches in their Champions League campaign. I can't remember how many games Mönchengladbach played overall. I think it was 8. So he might have only missed 1 game in that whole Champions League campaign for Gladbach. But unfortunately, their new manager has not shown any faith in them this season. That's also been complemented by their current cam, Jonas Hoffmann. He's been performing really well for a struggling Mönchengladbach side this season. So it must be hard for Wolf, to force his way into the team, because he only plays one position, and that one position is being occupied by arguably the team's best player at the moment. So, looking at Wolf and what are his strengths and what could he bring to Celtic that improves this overall Celtic team? So, the pros are very, very visible. His technical ability, very good. He's very, very fast. He's very good at scoring, very good scoring prowess, we could say. You know what? Honestly, I think the more I'm thinking about this, the more he seems like a very, very prolific false 9, second striker type thing. And because he's also got very good one-touch, two-touch passing. So it seems very likely that he could actually do all right at the striker spot. All right, just behind, yeah. So it's just a bit to think about, something to mull over. I'm going to mull over that as well. But as for weaknesses, there's really not much. He's still very young. He's really strong on the ball for only being 5'10" in height. I guess a lack of game time has probably hindered his confidence a lot. So that probably has been playing on his mind. So certainly, if he moved to a new club, he could definitely refine some form and help out whatever team he goes to. So the question still remains, where do Celtic lie in all of this? And with Mönchengladbach wanting to loan him out for the rest of the season, Celtic have put their name forward. But it hasn't just been Celtic. There's still 2 other clubs who have put their names forward to be potential suitors for Wolf for the rest of the season. That is Turkish side Trabzonspor, and then Austrian side Rapid Vienna. They both want Wolf as well. Rapid Vienna probably are the favourites at the moment. I think it's being reported just because they are from his home country of Austria. Now, this move could be extremely beneficial for Celtic because he plays the same role as the Wizard, and now the Wizard is awfully injured. Rogic. The Wizard? We'll call him the Wizard. The Wizard is awfully injury prone, and for the last 6 months of the season, Celtic have a title race, we have a Europa League conference campaign, and then we also have a Scottish Cup campaign all to deal with, and I think it can be guaranteed that Rogic will pick up maybe a minor injury along the way. And we're going to need squad depth because right now Celtic don't have a backup designated cam. You know, Turnbull is not a cam. I reinforce this on this channel so many times, and I think a lot of people are picking up on it as well, is that Turnbull is not a cam. He plays his best football as a box-to-box midfielder, completely on show against Dundee United when he has Rogic in front of him. How good is Turnbull when Rogic is in front of him? Because it just gives him that extra bit of space and that extra bit of time, whereas Rogic, you know, likes to take on defenders and beats 2 or 3 of them instead. They're very different games and they complement each other so well. So, Wolf, very good player, very young, and he will be desperate for game time because he knows in order to develop as a footballer and help reach his own potential, he's going to need game time. So he should be 100% open to a loan move and open to a club that can give him that game time, such as Celtic. Now, if you haven't clocked on yet, this deal is going to be a 6-month loan deal. It isn't confirmed yet. I'm just speculating here. It's going to be a 6-month loan deal. Now, no option to buy, I must add. Now, the reason there's no option to buy is for 2 main reasons. Number 1, he only signed for Mönchengladbach in the summer, and that was for like £9 million, so I don't think they'd be wanting to let him go straight away on a permanent deal to some other club, especially if he does very well on loan. Now, the second thing is that the buyout clause would be an astronomical fee. Firstly, his market value is around the £9 million mark, so that is firstly over Celtic's record transfer fee. Secondly, you have to factor in the potential tax. By that I mean, you know, like the fact he's young, the fact he has potential, and the fact that young players always get overpriced because they have the potential to become superstars in the future. So that probably will bump up a buyout clause to maybe like 12-13 million pounds, something that Celtic and something the board just would, I find impossible to pay that amount of money. I find it impossible that they'll pay £10 million for Cameron Carter-Vickers, let alone an Austrian cam who's going to be here for 6 months, who could still be amazing. But look, as for my personal thoughts on this deal, you know, if he comes in for the last 6 months and he helps us win the league, I think he'll be completely beneficial to our season if we can get him in. If he helps us win the league and he's a standout, you know, I'll try and not become emotionally attached to the lad, because we have to accept it's going to be almost impossible for the Celtic board to fork out money for a player of his quality. But yeah, look, bring him in. I think no risk deal. Bring him in for 6 months. If it doesn't go to plan, it doesn't go to plan. But if it goes to plan, it could be absolutely crucial to Celtic's success for the rest of the season. Now into the Jota news. And it is being reported by Sky Sports journo Anthony Joshua, no, not the boxer, that Celtic are going to trigger Jota's buyout clause by the end of the season. Apparently, the decision has been made by the higher-ups of the board that they will, in fact, pay the £6.5 million and that all parties concerned, Jota and Benfica, have no say in this, so that doesn't matter. But Jota and the board, they all want him here, the fans want him here, and they're happy to go ahead with the deal. We can breathe easy now. And I think it just shows we don't need I think this news is just everything we've always wanted to hear. Now we can stop calling for our Celtic to buy him out because we know it's going to happen. 99% sure. 99% sure. Now, as for Big Barkas and the disaster is about to come to an end, you know, it's like a never-ending tsunami, you know? He always seems to disappoint Celtic, but that disappointment is coming to an end. It's being reported that 3 Turkish clubs, 3, he's got 3 potential suitors, Barkas. That's incredible. I don't know how his agent's done this, but that is incredible. But apparently 3 Turkish clubs are interested in signing Barkas in January, with the player being open to a loan move or a permanent move. It hasn't been reported who the Turkish clubs are or what kind of deal they want to pursue, but apparently Barkas is happy to go. I'm happy for him to go. And it's probably happy for him to go. I think for all parties concerned, this is the best thing that could happen. We get him off the books and he's able to get on with his career because he's only 27 and keepers can last till they're 40. So he's got loads of time left in his career and he really needs to find his form again. I hope he does. I was disappointed to see how poorly it ended up for him from Celtic. He's going to be known as one of the biggest flop signings in Celtic history, but it is what it is. Thank you for your service. But that is all from me. So remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop in the comments below if you want to see Hans Wolf join the club in January, whether you want to see him come on loan. Would you be willing, if he was a standout, to pay £13 million for him? I certainly wouldn't, but it is what it is. So that is all from me. So until next time, hail, hail.